Today is February 19th, and we have two top stories developing. One is around DOGE and the ongoing efforts to cut government waste and abuse, and the other is the ongoing situation with Ukraine, and this is definitely a little bit less positive. But starting with the news from DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency, so far the tally here, it's $55 billion in total savings. And to make this more tangible, DOGE did just launch an official government website where they publish all of the receipts to these savings. Again, as of right now, the total number is $55 billion, and they claim this is a combination of fraud detection, cancellation of contracts, the sale of various assets, cancellation of grants, workforce reduction, and pragmatic along with regulatory savings. But the key bit of news here today is as this money continues to pile up, the stated goal of reaching $2 trillion, there's a new idea to implement a DOGE dividend, or simply a check back to the taxpayer. It looks like this tweet on X is the origination of this concept, and in this official document, they state how this DOGE dividend would potentially work. So with the target of a $2 trillion savings, the idea is to take 20% of that and return it to the taxpayer. And 20% of a $2 trillion savings, it's $400 billion. And if you divide that by the 79 million households that pay federal income tax, that's a DOGE dividend of $5,000. Now this is just theoretical, but Elon did reply to this tweet saying, quote, "We'll check with the president." So that's the latest developments and updates with DOGE, but the second developing story of the day is around Ukraine and foreign policy. So when it comes to the war in Ukraine, Trump has made it very clear that he wants the conflict to come to a conclusion.
I want to see peace. Look, you know why I want? Because I don't want all these people killed anymore. I'm looking at people that are being killed. And they're Russian and Ukrainian people, but they're people. Doesn't matter where they're from on the whole planet. And I think I have the power to end this war.
And that in isolation is a very just, noble cause. But you have to remember why this conflict began in the first place, and that responsibility falls squarely on Putin. And Trump's most recent comments seem to put at least some of this blame on Ukraine for this invasion. Trump argued that Kyiv could have made a deal to avoid the conflict.
Today I heard, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down.
And he also went on to say that Zelensky's approval rating is 4%, which is wrong. It's actually a little bit higher than Trump's approval rating. But there is a chance that this is all part of Trump's negotiation tactics, rather than the interpretation that he's trying to abandon Ukraine in favor of the position of Russia. Now, these comments did have a tangible effect on the ongoing negotiations for ownership of Ukraine's rare earth elements. As of just a few days ago, the US and Ukraine were in talks to secure access to these elements for the United States in compensation for their military assistance. And apparently the number here was $500 billion worth of these minerals. But after these latest comments from Trump, Ukraine seems to be pivoting, with Zelensky saying Ukraine is not for sale. But these are the two top developing stories for February 19th. A potential DOGE dividend in the work, and a little bit more space opening up between the United States and Ukraine when it comes to these peace negotiations. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.